Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we're going to take a fully spoilery look at Chapter 60 of Kaiju number 8. Now, this chapter shows us several of Matsumoto's specific strengths. First, he grounds the relationship solidly in reality. Sure, they are fighting a giant monster, but we are brutally reminded that these are very, very young people. Almost children who are being sent out to fight these battles. A reality that has been driven home to many of us by recent events in real life. Second, the art. This art is just gorgeous. I do not have the skill or the technical vocabulary to do it justice, but there's something about this art that just makes me happy. I just sat and looked at the title page for several seconds, drinking it in. Thirdly, Matsumoto showed off his ability to tease the audience with a plot point, dropping hints and foreshadowing dozens of chapters in advance, and then passing by the big reveal both naturally and so smoothly so that the satisfaction of the reveal doesn't yoink you out of the story. By the way, shout out to Pirate Hunter Anime. I can't be sure, but I think he was the first one to call out the foreshadowing for this chapter's big reveal way back around chapter 33, so good call there, Pirate. Go watch his video on this chapter. As of making this script, I haven't watched it yet, but just watching him be stoked about the reveal is going to be solid entertainment. Now, on to the spoilers. To give you time to click away, I will tell you to go check out the links below the video to get yourself a copy of one of my books, Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data, and Humans Are Weird, We Took a Vote, Monty Python Meets Anne of Green Gables, and these short story collections of science fiction. So, you have now had time to click away from the video. You have been warned. Spoilers. Numbers Weapon 6 does indeed have ice powers. This was just beautifully set up. We first see the ice theme emerge, possibly as early as chapter 1 when we first see Reno. This may sound like a stretch, but the boy was cold, reserved, and had white hair. I'm just saying, anime, manga, those are indicators of ice powers. But because we were clearly in a grounded sci-fi slice of life manga, even by then, we just didn't make the connection. Then, in the battle against the giant fungal kaiju, we see that Reno has been practicing with freeze rounds. That's around chapter 17. Then, somewhere around chapter 33, we get the comment by one of the big brass at the Kaiju Defense Force meeting that weapon number 6 is on ice because there is no one fit to wield it. That is when Pirate cottoned on. Then, we got the bit about Kaiju number 6 arriving with a snowstorm, and it was all but confirmed. Then, this chapter happened. Matsumoto took these months, these years of build-up, and strode past the reveal as if it were just another page of the manga. I think this really speaks to Matsumoto's confidence in his own skill as a storyteller, and to his faith in his audience's intelligence. He knew we were going to be delighted with the gift he had given us in this chapter, and he felt no need to pause the story and make sure we spotted and praised his cleverness. This is just one more link in the chain, one more step in the journey that we're taking. And where, pray tell, is that story taking our boy Reno? It has brought him this far, but now we've had the third beat of what I am calling the Reno is sus as all get out foreshadowing. What am I talking about? Well, there is just too much empty space in Reno's story. We never did learn anything about his childhood. He just shows up, technically an adult, but barely, at Kafka's job. A job that probably doesn't have very strict application processes. We get a one-off mention of a grade school field trip, but nothing else. Then there was that massive time jump between the hospital scene when we see him working with Kafka. We never see Reno's apartment. We don't see him bonding with Kafka. Just boom. Next chapter and he's ride or die there for the human that can transform into a kaiju that he literally just met the day before the transformation happened. I remember we all complained a bit when that happened the first time, but we moved on. The story was otherwise good. Other than that glaring lack of character development, what of it? Besides, Kafka was the main character, not Reno. Then it happened again between the application arc and the first battle against the fungal kaiju. Reno develops, has a massive jump forward in power that we don't see happen, and this time we brush it off. It's just Matsumoto's style, we figure. We didn't notice that his rival Aiharu hadn't noticed his progression either, which means it wasn't just that we weren't seeing it, we readers. The characters around Reno who were spending every day of their lives with him weren't seeing the development either, as if Reno was being kind of secretive about that development. Then it happens again in the power jump between chapter 56, 59, and 60. And this one is as glaring, more glaring than the first, and it is almost lampshaded. The assistant or vice captain, we're not sure which one she is, of the 4th Division's captain states that his progression has been abnormal. Not impressive, not fast, not unexpected, abnormal. Abnormal generally has negative connotations in the English language. And this is where, I'd really love to see someone with a strong understanding of both English and Japanese dissect that word. Because abnormal has strong negative connotations. When there's a lump under your arm that's not supposed to be there, that's abnormal. If you're pumping irons and you get bigger faster than anybody else, that's impressive, that's fast, that's unexpected, not abnormal. So we've got a real lampshade here on the suspiciousness of how fast Reno can advance when he's focusing on it. And I see a pattern. Beyond this, I see a pattern. Where Matsumoto is showing us in detail the effort that goes into the growth of Kikoru, Kafka, and all the others, Matsumoto is deliberately hiding whatever Reno is doing to achieve these massive leaps in power. Now, the Defense Force is observing Reno and observing him closely, but from what we saw from Kafka, there is something not quite kosher about Reno. If there is some strain of something kaiju about him, they wouldn't necessarily be able to tell the same way they weren't able to tell with Kafka. So, here's my theory going forward. There is something suspicious about Reno, something that allows him to alter and increase his ability to draw out the combat energy from the suits. This might be that he has a kaiju symbiote like Kafka does, one that's just not as well developed or efficient and can't transform him. This might be that Reno has access to some tech or something that allows him to increase his compatibility. Look at how he has advanced, carefully maintaining himself at levels that the Defense Force wouldn't question too much, but always at the high end of that, and only advancing when the need presents itself to protect Kafka. He is a prodigy to the Defense Force. Not yet, or at least not entirely suspicious, except for that one little word, abnormal. Either way, I would be willing to bet dollars to donuts that this, whatever it is that lets Reno take this shortcut, it's draining his life in the same way the suit does, putting him in even greater danger, and is going to play into this theme of just children. Jumping out to the 4th Division, we find out a lot more about them in Matsumoto's classic Show Don't Tell style. Now, we saw that the 1st Division is Tokyo's main coastline defense. They take the big Godzilla types that come stomping out of the ocean. They're rapid response, fast advance. The 3rd Division is more inland. They take out things that have had a chance to get into Tokyo proper. Now, the 4th Division are the division tasked with more rural kaiju outside of Tokyo, up in the passes in the mountains. To be this way, they have to be more mobile. They have tanks, things that can climb up and down hills and get through forests easily. The kaiju they fight are probably just as powerful or nearly as powerful as the one the 1st and 3rd Division take on, but it looks like these kaiju are more well-known, better understood. This mole kaiju pops out of the ground every 5 years. Think of it as a cicada, or just and how to kill these mole kaiju is well known. The 4th Division captain is just casually confident that he can curb stomp that thing in moments if it gets out of Reno's control. The 4th Division probably gets far less press than the other divisions for these reasons. They are like the crews that clear snow in the high mountains passage. It's dangerous work, it's critical work, it's work that would bring a nation to its knees if it failed, but all the dangers are well understood, they know what they have to do, and they can compensate for them. We even learn more about the kaijus. You see something like the mole kaiju that crops up at a set time every few years. that is a natural occurrence, like locusts, like cicadas. It's a fairly strong indicator that the kaiju in this world are just a natural occurrence, like cicadas or locusts. Devastating, but just another part of the world that they live in. At least they were until Kaiju number 9 got his grubby little mycorrhizae into them and started twisting them into the horrors that we saw spawning down in his undersea palace. But what do you think of all of this, my wonderful viewers? Is Matsumoto skimping on the character development of a main character for pure pacing reasons? Or is he stealthily building up white space in our minds that will just fit the revelation of who and what Rino Ichikawa really is when the time comes? Are these kaiju just like locusts who have suddenly developed intelligence and the ability to fight back against the pesticides? What do you think? Leave a comment below the video telling me what you think. I do want to hear your ideas on these concepts. But otherwise, hit that like and subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, you can make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube does unsubscribe you if they think your account is a bot. And go check out my books, Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data, Humans Are Weird, We Took a Vote. If you're still listening at this point, thank you so much, and peace out, my wonderful viewers.
Humans Are Weird, We Took a Vote, and Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data. 2 books in a series of human absurdity. Go check out these short story collections. What will our little green friends think of us when we finally do make it to space? Find out the answer in 2 books of human absurdity. Humans Are Weird, We Took a Vote, and Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Google Play.